All right, so as I said kind of a minute ago, this will be our last new lesson of Chapter 7 that we cover. There are a couple more lessons I've covered in the past, but just for what we're doing with this, I think I'm just going to stick with the main ones, and this would kind of round us out. All right, so our main new rule for today, you guys have actually seen this before, but it says when we multiply powers that have the same base, we subtract those exponents, okay? Or sorry, I said multiply. When we divide powers that have the same base, we subtract those exponents. All right, so we also talked about this a little bit on the DMR when we did this, but like, why does that work? So let's say we had, 2 to the 4th divided by 2 to the 3rd. If we think about that literally, this is what it means. So what happens with every 2 over 2? They cancel each other out. They become a 1, right? So the 3 on the bottom cancel out 3 on the top, leaving you with a 1. Okay, so anyways, that's why it works. All right, on that note, let's go ahead and get started with some examples. Okay. So looking at example 1a there, it says x to the 5 over 2 over x to the 2. So there we just take 5 halves minus 2. We could obviously use our calculator for that, but what we would get is 1 half. Or x to the 0.5 would be fine. Okay. Looking at number 2, or sorry, example 1b. So we want to just kind of go like part by part, like we normally do, right? So my coefficient is going to be 10 divided by 2. That'd be 5. My power of m is going to be 2 minus 5. So that'd be 2 minus 5, not 5 minus 2, right? So that'd be negative 3. And then sorry, was that m or n? I think that was m, yeah. And then my power of n is going to be 4 minus 3 is 1, okay? So last step is we just try to clean it up. We do have a negative exponent there, so we want to clean that up. Does anybody want to try to write my final expression with only positive exponents? Anybody want to do that step for me? All right, I'll do it. So we would have 5 times n over m cubed. 5n over m cubed. Does anybody have any questions about that step? All right, let's do another one then. Okay, so for C, my exponent for A is going to be negative 3 minus 5. Negative 3 minus 5 is going to be negative 8. So a to the negative 8. And then my exponent for B is going to be 7 minus 2, which we get 5. Okay. Go ahead and try to clean that up, and I will call on somebody for my final answer there. What's my final answer is the question. Because since we have a negative exponent. Actually, can I get a volunteer? Luke, what is it? What's my final answer? Not a to the 8 over b to the 5. Let's see. Sadie? b to the 5th over a to the 8th, right? So that would be correct. B to the 5th over a to the 8th. All right, and then let's just do one more together, and I'll have you guys try a few on your own. Okay. All right. So looking at, I'm skipping down to G. I'm going to leave those other couple for you. Okay. So my coefficient is going to be 6 over 16. Now, if I type 6 divided by 16 in my calculator, it's going to give me a decimal. That's not what I want. I want a fraction. So what is 6 over 16 reduced? What's that reduced to? Do what? No. 6 over 16. No. 6 over 16. 3/8. Very good. All right. So we were to just reduce that to 3/8. Then we have x to the 4 over x to the 4. That would just be 4 minus 4 is 0, right? So x to the 0. Also, it's kind of neat here too to think about this. Anything over itself equals 1, right? And also anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So there you see those properties kind of come together. My exponent for y is going to be -1 minus -5. Okay, so while I'm giving Sarah a note template, I want you to type that in. What's -1 minus -5? -1 minus -5. Or maybe you don't need a calculator. Yes? It's +4. That's right. Very good. Okay, that one would trip a lot of people up. All right, so just be careful. So we get y to the 4. And then the last part, z to the 8 over z. So for my exponent, I'm thinking 8 minus 1 there. 8 minus 1 would give me 7. All right, so that is a correct answer. We just want to make it look a little prettier. We want to totally simplify it. So what goes up top would be 3 times 1, right? X to the 0 equals 1. So 3 times 1 times y to the 4 times z to the 7. So really, I'm just going to put 3y to the 4, z to the 7. And then what's on my denominator is just the 8. So all over 8. All right, so now and feel free to compare answers with people around you, because I will call on you, right? But try to do D, E, and F. Anybody need any help? All right, So let me see if Kayla Brinley could tell us what the answer for D is. What did we get there? All right. Do you have a different one that you could give us? All right. What'd you get for E? So that's incorrect, but that's okay. Lots of places you could have gone wrong there. Carson, were you able to get D? It's not y to the 1/2. How about a volunteer? Anybody? Tristan? 1/4, yes. So in your calculator, you're just typing 3 ABC4 minus 1 ABC2. You get 1/4. So that would be my exponent. Okay, so y to the 1/4. Thank you, Tristan. So looking at E, Buchanan, what'd you get for E?
4k to the 5th over 3j to the 3rd.
That's it. Very good. 4k to the 5th over 3j to the 3rd. If I have time, I'll come back and show that one, but it will also be on your filled out notes as well. Okay, kind of showing the steps there. All right, and then F. Sadie, what'd you get for F? D to the 1/2. Very good. So 7/2 minus 3 is 1/2. So that gives me D to the 1/2. Anybody have any questions before we move on? All right. So I think that I will skip over those. We'll just skip these. And go to these. Okay. All right. So this is again very similar to if you looked at example 3 on 7.3. On the back side there, this is about the same thing, right? So on that one, I said this is similar to the distributive property. In other words, just, the exponent applies to everything, okay? So let's go ahead and look at a couple. All right, so we have z to the 2/3 over 5, all raised to the 3rd power, okay? And remember, when I raise a power to a power, this is a review now, what do I do? What's the exponent rule? What do I do with the exponents? What's a level down from raising something to a power? Not subtracting it. That's okay, though, because that's what we're focusing on today. But if I have, like, this is what I'm talking about. If I have, like, s to the 3rd raised to the 4th power, what do I do with those exponents? This is from last lesson. Do what? I think I heard somebody say it. Yeah, multiply is correct. Very good. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that's what we do with the exponents. Okay. So, looking at A here, we'd have z to the 2/3 times 3 over 5 to the 1 times 3. All right. So, that's going to be z squared, because 2/3 times 3 is 2. Z squared over 5 cubed, which is correct, but it's not all the way simplified. So who can tell me what 5 cubed is? You just type that in. 5 to the 3rd power. What's that equal to? Rory? 125. So final answer, most simplified answer is z squared over 125. Z squared over 125. All right, thank you for that. And let's look at B together, then I'll give you guys C and D to look at. All right, so there's a couple of approaches you could take on B. Okay, you could simplify what's in the parentheses first, or you could apply your exponent rule first. It's probably smartest to go ahead and simplify your exponent first. So let's do that first. So for my exponent, then I'm gonna have 1 minus 3. Okay, 1 minus 3. So really, this is equal to 4 x to the negative 2 squared. Or I could write that as 4 over x squared squared. Okay, either way would be fine. Eventually, I'll have to simplify it either way. So then that's equal to 4 squared times x to the negative 2 times 2 would be negative 4. And then we just simplify. Okay, so that would be 16 over x to the 4th. So I did two things in that step. I simplified 4 squared to get 16, and I took care of my negative exponent. All right. Okay, now you guys try the next couple, C and D. There's obviously some fractions in there on C that can make it more complicated. But I'd say if you get stuck on that one, move to D. Don't be afraid to ask people around you for help. Okay, don't be afraid to ask me for help during this work time. All right, guys, instead of calling on you for this next one, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go over the answer. So the answer is 1 over a to the 17th. The reason I want to go over it is just to show you a couple of different approaches. So one approach would be, and this is not how I did B, one approach would be go ahead and do your, take that 4 outside the parentheses, sorry, and multiply it by both exponents, right? So 3/4 times 4 gave me 3. 5 times 4 gave me 20, and then I go ahead and simplify from there. Okay, so that's going to give me, negative 17, and then 1 over a to the 17th. Or I could subtract first, right? So if I did 3/4 minus 5, I would get negative 4 and 1/4, or negative 17/4. And then I could raise that to the 4th power, right? So negative 17/4 or negative 4 and 1/4 times 4 is negative 17. And then we still get to the same place, 1 over a to the positive 17. Okay, so either way, both approaches are logical, both make sense, but I just wanted to go over that. Then, for the next one, Luke, what'd you get for D? Gannon, what'd you get for D? Preston? Rory? Anybody? Yes?
3W to the 15th over 64.
All right. Okay, I will tell, or sorry, 64 is correct. I will tell you that if I were grading this one and this were, say, a 3-point test question, this would be a 2 out of 3. So can anybody now find the error? Because he did most of it right, but there's one little easy, like a super easy mistake to make. Anybody find where the mistake is? Jake? Yeah, the three gets cubed also, and you can see how easy that is to mess it up, right? It just, because we don't see it there on the, we don't see the 3 to the first power, so we just kind of forget. But yeah, this should be 3 cubed, which is what? What's that simplified to? Anybody punch that in for me real quick? What is 3? 27. Very good. All right, so Buchanan, real close. But the final answer there should be 27 W to the 15 over 64. Okay? Anybody have any questions? All right, let's do just a couple more with these negative exponents, and yeah, that'll be it. Okay, so I think the smartest thing to do here is just approach these as if they were positive exponents. In other words, just take everything in the parentheses to the power of negative 3. Okay, so that's going to give me, Madison, are you with me? Okay, that's going to give me 2 to the negative 3, and then x to the 6 times negative 3 would be negative 18. And then my exponent for y is 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. Now, obviously, I got a lot of negative exponent stuff to take care of, okay? Actually, all my exponents are negative, so I reciprocal all of them, all right? So that's going to give me y to the 12th over 2 cubed times x to the 18th. Right? I just flip them all, and then I have my positive exponents. The last thing I'd want to simplify there is what is 2 cubed, right? So 2 cubed would be 8. All right, so my final, most simplified answer would be y to the 12 over 8x to the 18. Y to the 12 over 8x to the 18. Now, I think they show that a different way in the book. Like what they do in the book is this, so this may make more sense. I don't know if I'd write this down because it's going to be pretty cluttered. But what they do in the book is they say, all right, go ahead and flip everything first and then take it to the positive 3. So if you flipped everything first, you'd have y to the 4 over 2x to the 6. And then you can raise that to the power of positive 3. So if that makes more sense, you could do that too. Okay, you're just doing your flipping first. To me, the way I showed it makes more sense, and obviously that's why I showed it that way, but there is another approach there. All right, so let's do one more together, and then we'll see what time it is. All right, so step 1, apply the -2 exponent to everything, gives me a to the -2 over 5 to the -2 times b to the -2. First person who can simplify that, I'll give you a stick of gum. I don't have much. I know it's not a big treat, but it's something. Final answer. What would the final answer on that be? Oh, you're fine. You're fine. All right, I'm gonna limit you to 10 more seconds. Hate those things. Anybody? 3, 2, 1. All right. So we'd want to get rid of our negative exponents. Which would go like that. And then all we have to do is figure out what 5 squared is. All right. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. I don't know. I wish you guys would ask questions if you had some, but you know, I am a little bit surprised that you guys aren't able to easily get from here to here at this point. Okay. Maybe you are and you just don't want to say, but that should be easy at this point in the chapter. Okay. If not, then you got some studying to do. Okay. All right. Let's see actually what time it is first. Okay. I will just probably leave C and D. I'm going to go ahead and post your assignment. Okay. We'll probably do kind of a work day tomorrow. I suggest you work ahead a little bit if you get a chance, and that way you can get a little bit more out of Q&A day.